Silence is not weakness, it is strategy. The most powerful response to disrespect is not always words, it is wisdom. Ladies and gentlemen, let me start by asking you a question. Have you ever been disrespected? I mean, truly insulted. Someone looked down on you, spoke to you like you were nothing, laughed at your dreams, or tried to break your confidence. What did you do? Did you react in anger? Did you argue back? Did you try to prove your worth to someone who had already made up their mind about you? Tonight, I want to challenge your thinking. I want to introduce you to a higher way of handling disrespect, a way that will leave your enemies confused and your dignity untouched. I call it the power of silence. BDI, your value does not decrease because of someone's opinion. A lion does not turn around when a dog barks. Why? Because the lion knows who he is. Many of us waste energy reacting to people who don't even deserve a response. When you know your worth, disrespect becomes background noise. Silence speaks louder than words. Have you ever noticed that the strongest people don't argue? They don't beg for respect. They simply move in silence and their results speak for them. Your response should not be words. It should be action. Let your success make the noise. Emotional reactions give power to your enemy. Every time you react with anger or frustration, you are handing your enemy control. They wanted to upset you, and you just showed them they succeeded. But when you stay quiet, you confuse them. They don't know what you are thinking, and that is powerful. The strongest battles are won in silence. Think about the most powerful moments in life. A judge delivers a life-changing verdict with a single word. A businessman signs $1 billion deal with a silent handshake. A king does not need to shout to command authority. Strength is often silent. Silence protects your energy. Not every battle is worth fighting. Some people insult you because they want your attention. If you argue with fools, you lower yourself to their level. Learn to guard your peace. Some people deserve only your silence. Silence forces people to reflect. When you don't respond, people start to think, did I go too far? Why did they react? Sometimes your silence makes them realize their mistake more than an argument ever could. Disrespect is a test of character. The way you respond to disrespect reveals who you are. If you let anger control you, you show weakness. But if you remain calm and walk away with dignity, you show true strength. Silence gives you the upper hand. When you respond, you give people ammunition to attack you again. But when you stay quiet, they have nothing to use against you. The one who speaks less holds the advantage. Silence makes your next move unpredictable. The greatest leaders, warriors, and business minds know the power of silence. Never let your enemy know what you are thinking. Stay quiet, then strike with wisdom and action when the time is right. Revenge is not necessary. When success is your answer, the best way to silence disrespect is not by arguing, fighting, or proving a point. It is by becoming so successful, so powerful, and so unshakable that their words become meaningless. Let me leave you with this final thought. The ocean does not respond to the barking of dogs. The sun does not stop shining because someone complains about the heat. And you, yes, you, must not lower yourself to respond to every insult, every critic, and every fool that comes your way. The next time someone disrespects you, try this, take a deep breath, smile and walk away. Let your silence be your strength. Let your success be your response. Let your dignity be your victory. Because in the end, real power belongs to those who don't need to prove it. Your value is not determined by someone's opinion. A diamond does not lose its worth because someone says it is just a rock. A king does not lose his throne because a beggar refuses to bow. And yet, so many of us allow the words of others to shake us, to make us question who we are, to make us feel small. But hear me clearly. What someone says about you does not define you. Their insults do not write your story. Their rejection does not close your doors. The only opinion that matters is the one you hold about yourself. If you know your worth, if you know what you carry, If you understand your purpose, then no amount of disrespect can shake you. Silence is louder than words. The most powerful individuals in the world do not waste time arguing with people beneath them. The CEO does not argue with an intern who doubts his ability. A warrior does not stop mid-battle to entertain a heckler. And a wise man does not waste his breath debating fools. Instead, they let their actions speak. They let their results do the talking. And they remain silent when provoked because they understand that responding to every insult is like throwing stones at every barking dog. You lose time, you lose energy, and in the end, the dog keeps barking anyway. When you stay silent, when you refuse to respond to negativity, you send a message louder than words. I am above this. I do not need to prove myself to you. And that's silence. That silence is power. Emotional reactions give power to your enemy. The moment you react in anger, the moment you let someone's disrespect dictate your emotions, you have given them control. They wanted to get under your skin, and they succeeded. They wanted to see you break, and you did. But imagine, just imagine, what would happen if instead of reacting, you just smiled and walked away. Imagine the frustration on their faces when they realize their words have no effect on you. Imagine how small they will feel when they realize they do not have the power to shake you. Strength is not in shouting back. Strength is not in proving a point. Strength is in staying unbothered. Because the one who stays in control of their emotions controls the situation. The strongest battles are won in silence. The greatest warriors do not announce their plans to their enemies. The most successful individuals do not explain themselves to their critics. And the most intelligent people do not waste their time arguing with those who refuse to understand. Instead, they strategize, they observe, they move in silence, and then they execute with precision. There is a reason why storms do not announce their arrival. There is a reason why the sun does not ask for permission to rise. And there is a reason why powerful people do not respond to disrespect. They do not need to. The best revenge is progress. The best response is results. And the best way to win is to let your silence make them wonder. Silence protects your energy. Not every battle is meant for you. Not every insult requires a response. Some people speak not because they have wisdom, but because they love to hear their own voices. Some people insult you not because you are weak, but because they are insecure. And some people try to bring you down because they cannot handle the weight of their own failures. If you spend your life reacting to every bit of negativity, you will drain yourself. You will lose focus. You will waste your energy on people who do not deserve it. But when you stay silent, when you refuse to engage, you keep your energy. You keep your peace. You stay in control. And that is a power few people ever learn to master. Silence forces people to reflect. When you argue, people focus on your words. But when you stay quiet, they are left alone with their own. They are left with their own bitterness, their own disrespect, their own insecurities. And in that silence, many of them will start to wonder, did I go too far? Why didn't they react? Why do they seem unaffected? Sometimes, the most powerful way to make someone regret their words is not by confronting them, but by letting them sit with the weight of what they have said. When they realize you are too strong to break, too wise to argue, and too focused to care, they will see the truth for themselves. Disrespect is a test of character. It does not define the person who disrespects you. It defines you. It shows who you are. Will you lower yourself to their level? Will you allow their words to change you? Or will you stand firm, walk away, and hold your dignity? Anyone can shout back. Anyone can insult in return. But it takes true strength to stay quiet and rise above it. There is no power in responding to fools. There is no dignity in explaining yourself to people who have already decided not to respect you. And there is no wisdom in allowing someone else's words to control your actions. Silence gives you the upper hand. The one who talks the most is often the one with the least control. The more you explain, the more they twist your words. The more you defend yourself, the more they attack. But when you say nothing, when you refuse to explain, when you remain silent, you leave them with nothing to use against you. Let them wonder. Let them guess. Let them drown in their own confusion. Because in the end, the one who speaks less holds more power. Silence makes your next move unpredictable. Never let your enemies know what you are thinking. Never let them know what you feel. When you react, they know they got to you. When you respond, they know they have control. But when you stay quiet, they have no idea what comes next. And that, my friend, is power. The greatest warriors in history were unpredictable. The most successful people in the world are unrateable. Do not give your enemies the satisfaction of knowing how you feel. Keep them guessing. Keep them wondering. And when you do strike, do it with results. Revenge is not necessary when success is your answer. The best way to silence those who doubt you is to become everything they said you couldn't be. The best way to deal with disrespect is to let your life make their words meaningless. Imagine the power of proving them wrong, not with words, not with arguments, but with your actions. Imagine standing at the top while those who doubted you are left speechless. Imagine achieving so much that their insults seem laughable. That is the true victory. That is the real power. Not in fighting back, not in proving a point, but in becoming so successful, so powerful, and so untouchable that their words carry no weight. There is a reason why the strongest people in the world are not the loudest. There is a reason why those who hold real power do not waste their energy arguing, explaining, or defending themselves. The world has conditioned people to believe that if they are silent, they are weak. But that is the greatest deception of all. Silence is not weakness, it is wisdom. Silence is not submission, it is strategy. The loudest person in the room is not always the smartest. Often, they are the most insecure. The person who needs to respond to every insult, react to every criticism, and fight every battle is not strong. They are controlled by the opinions of others. But the one who remains silent, the one who does not flinch, the one who does not react, that person is dangerous. That person is in control. That person holds a power that cannot be shaken. Think about it. Have you ever seen a lion argue with a hyena? Have you ever seen an eagle explain itself to a flock of pigeons? Have you ever seen a king stop to debate with a beggar throwing insults at his feet? No, because the lion knows who he is. The eagle does not waste time with creatures that cannot reach his level. And the king does not step down from his throne to entertain foolishness. The moment you understand your worth, the moment you realize that responding to every insult is beneath you, you will step into a new level of power. You will not feel the need to justify yourself to people who do not deserve your explanation. You will not feel the need to react to people who do not deserve your energy. You will not feel the need to answer to those who have already made up their minds about you. Silence is a test of discipline. Not everyone has the strength to remain silent when they are disrespected. Most people react immediately. They want to defend their pride. They want to prove a point. They want to show that they will not be walked over. But here's the truth. The moment you react in anger, the moment you allow someone's words to dictate your emotions, you have already lost. You have given them power over you. They wanted to upset you, and they succeeded. They wanted to distract you, and you fell for it. But the person who remains silent, the person who refuses to react, that person wins. That person keeps their power. That person walks away with their dignity intact, while their enemy is left frustrated, confused, and powerless. When you stay silent, you force people to question themselves. If someone insults you and you respond with anger, they know they got to you. If they criticize you and you feel the need to defend yourself, they know they hit a nerve. But if they throw words at you and you stand there, calm, unshaken, unmoved, they start to wonder, why didn't they react? What are they thinking? That silence makes them uncomfortable. That silence forces them to sit with their own words, their own actions, their own guilt. Sometimes, the most powerful response is no response at all. Let them talk. Let them throw their insults. Let them say what they want. And while they waste their breath, you stay focused. You keep your energy. You continue to rise. Silence is a weapon that confuses your enemies. When people know how you feel, they know how to control you. If they know that a certain insult makes you angry, they will use it against you. If they know that you are desperate to prove yourself, they will challenge your worth every chance they get. But when you are silent, when you refuse to let them see your emotions, when you refuse to give them the reaction they are looking for, you become unpredictable. They do not know if they have won or lost. They do not know what you are thinking. They do not know what you will do next. And that uncertainty, that mystery, that is what gives you the upper hand. The one who speaks less holds more power. Silence protects your peace. Some battles are not worth fighting. Some arguments are not worth having. Some people are not worth your energy. There are people who will never respect you, no matter what you say. There are people who will twist your words, no matter how you explain yourself. There are people who do not want to understand. They just want to provoke you, drain you, and bring you down to their level. And when you engage with them, you lose. You lose your time. You lose your peace. You lose your focus. But when you stay silent, when you refuse to engage, you win. You keep your peace. You keep your focus. You keep your energy for what truly matters. Your silence is not a sign that you accept disrespect. It is a sign that you are too strong to be affected by it. It is a sign that you are too focused on your goals to be distracted by petty people. It is a sign that you are playing a bigger game, one that your enemies cannot even begin to understand. Let them talk. Let them assume. Let them wonder. And while they waste their time trying to bring you down, you will be rising, moving forward, succeeding in silence. Because in the end, the loudest person in the room is not always the strongest. The person who stays quiet, the person who moves in silence, the person who refuses to let words shake them, that is the person who holds true power. The moment you react emotionally to disrespect, you give power to the very person trying to shake you. They wanted a reaction, and you gave it to them. They wanted to see you angry, frustrated, or broken, and you delivered exactly what they wanted. When you allow someone's words to control your emotions, you are handing them the keys to your peace of mind. You are telling them, you have the power to affect me. But why should you give that power to someone who does not deserve it? Why should you allow their small words to disrupt your big vision? Imagine a chess player. A grandmaster does not make moves based on emotions. He does not throw pieces off the board because he feels frustrated. No, he watches, he strategizes, and he waits for the right moment to strike. But if he lets his emotions control him, if he lets his frustration dictate his moves, he loses. Life works the same way. The person who controls their emotions controls the situation. The person who reacts impulsively loses their advantage. A strong mind is one that is unshaken by words, unaffected by insults, and unmoved by petty attacks. Think about the last time someone disrespected you. Maybe it was a co-worker who made a snide remark about your work. Maybe it was a friend who downplayed your achievements. Maybe it was a stranger who spoke to you with unnecessary rudeness. What did you do? Did you snap back? Did you let anger take over? And if you did, what did it solve? Did it change their opinion? Did it make you feel better? Or did it only drain your energy and leave you with regret? Every time you react emotionally, you are playing their game. You are letting them dictate your actions. But imagine if, instead of reacting, you just smiled and walked away. Imagine if you responded with silence, with indifference. That would be far more powerful than any argument you could have. Because nothing confuses an enemy more than a person they cannot control. Nothing frustrates a disrespectful person more than someone who refuses to give them the satisfaction of a reaction. A lion does not roar back at barking dogs. It simply continues walking, knowing that the noise means nothing. A storm does not pause because someone complains about the rain. It simply continues to pour. And in the same way, you should not lower yourself to respond to every insult, every critic, every petty attack. You are bigger than that. You are stronger than that. There is a reason why the most successful people do not waste time arguing with their doubters. They do not get on social media to explain themselves to every critic. They do not spend energy proving themselves to people who have already decided not to respect them. Instead, they keep working. They keep moving forward. They keep winning in silence. And by the time their enemies realize what has happened, it is too late. They have already risen beyond their reach. The greatest warriors in history did not scream on the battlefield. They did not waste their breath arguing with their opponents. They remained calm, focused, and in control. Because they knew that emotions cloud judgment. They knew that the moment they allowed anger to take over, they would make mistakes. And so, they fought with strategy, not impulse. They fought with patience, not pride. And they won. Not because they had the loudest voices, but because they had the strongest minds. The same applies to life. The loudest person in the room is often the weakest. The one who constantly needs to prove themselves, to argue, to defend their pride, they are the ones who lack true confidence. But the one who remains silent in the face of disrespect, that person is dangerous. That person is in control. That person cannot be manipulated, cannot be broken, cannot be shaken. When you react emotionally, you are telling your enemies that they have access to you, that they can pull your strings like a puppet. But when you stay silent, when you refuse to give them a reaction, you take back your power. You show them that their words mean nothing. You show them that you are too focused, too disciplined, too strong to be affected by their petty games. Every time you feel the urge to react, remember this: the person who controls their emotions controls the room. The person who stays calm while others are losing their temper holds the power. The person who walks away instead of engaging in meaningless arguments has already won the battle. Do not let disrespect pull you into a war that is not worth fighting. Do not let someone's words steal your peace. Do not let temporary emotions make permanent mistakes. Hold your silence. Guard your energy, and let your success be your answer. The strongest battles are won in silence. Not every war is fought with swords, and not every victory is claimed through shouting. Some battles are won by those who refuse to be provoked, by those who understand that real power does not come from arguing, but from standing firm, unshaken, and unbothered. The greatest kings, the most successful leaders, the most powerful warriors in history, they did not waste their breath responding to every insult. They did not lower themselves to petty conflicts. They moved in silence, observed in patience, and struck with precision when the time was right. Picture a master chess player. He does not react emotionally to his opponent's moves. He does not flip the board in frustration when he is challenged. Instead, he remains still, calculating his next step while his opponent plays recklessly. And in the end, he wins, not because he was louder, not because he argued, but because he knew that silence and strategy were his greatest weapons. Life is no different. Every time you respond emotionally to disrespect, you are making a move based on impulse, not wisdom. Every time you let someone's words pull you into an argument, you are playing their game instead of controlling your own. But the one who remains silent, the one who does not react, that is the person who holds the power. Think about the last time someone disrespected you. Maybe a co-worker questioned your abilities in front of others. Maybe a friend made a comment that belittled your dreams. Maybe a stranger spoke to you in a way that made you feel small. How did you respond? Did you feel the need to defend yourself? Did you argue? Did you raise your voice, trying to prove your worth? And if you did, what did it change? Did they suddenly respect you? Did they suddenly understand your value? Or did it just drain your energy and leave you feeling exhausted? Now imagine this. Instead of reacting, you stayed silent. Instead of proving yourself, you let your actions do the talking. Instead of lowering yourself to their level, you remained calm, collected, and in control. Imagine the look on their faces when they realized their words had no effect on you. Imagine their confusion, their frustration, their regret when they saw that you were too strong to be shaken, too wise to engage, too focused to waste time on meaningless battles. That silence, that is power, that is control. That is the kind of strength that makes people rethink their words, that forces them to question their actions. There is a reason why the most powerful people in the world do not react to every insult thrown their way. There is a reason why successful individuals do not waste their energy explaining themselves to people who have already decided not to respect them. It is because they understand that time is their most valuable asset. They understand that their energy is too precious to be spent on battles that do not matter. And they understand that the best revenge is not words, not anger, not proving a point. It is success. It is results. It is rising so high that the people who once doubted you can do nothing but watch in silence. A lion does not turn around when a dog barks. An eagle does not fly lower just to argue with the birds below. And a river does not stop flowing because someone throws stones into it. They keep moving. They keep rising. They keep progressing. And that is exactly what you must do. When someone disrespects you, remember this: your value does not decrease because someone fails to see it. Your worth is not determined by someone's inability to recognize it. The opinions of others do not define you. Your actions do. Your results do. The way you carry yourself in the face of adversity does. Some people insult you not because you are weak, but because they are intimidated by your strength. Some people try to bring you down because they cannot handle the weight of their own insecurities. And some people provoke you simply to see if they can control you. Do not give them that satisfaction. Do not give them access to your emotions. Do not allow their words to pull you into a battle that is not worth your time. Walk away, stay quiet, and let them sit with their own bitterness. Silence makes people uncomfortable. When you argue, they focus on your words. But when you say nothing, they are left alone with their own. They are left wondering why you did not respond. They are left questioning whether they were right or wrong. And in many cases, that silence speaks louder than any argument ever could, because it shows them that you are not on their level. It shows them that their words do not reach you. And it shows them that you are playing a bigger game, one they cannot even begin to understand. The strongest battles are won in silence. Not every fight requires a response. Not every insult deserves your attention. Some wars are best fought by walking away, by refusing to engage, by staying so focused on your goals that the noise around you becomes irrelevant. There is nothing more powerful than a person who cannot be provoked. There is nothing more intimidating than a person who refuses to be shaken. And there is nothing more victorious than a person who wins. Not by arguing, not by proving a point, but by succeeding in silence. Silence protects your energy. Every word you speak, every argument you engage in, every moment you spend trying to prove yourself drains something from you. And the question you must ask yourself is it worth it? Is it worth giving your energy to someone who does not respect you? Is it worth explaining yourself to someone who has already made up their mind about you? Is it worth allowing another person's words to dictate your emotions, your peace, your focus? Imagine walking into a room filled with people who doubt you, criticize you, or even belittle you. You have two choices. You can argue with each one of them, spending hours explaining yourself, proving your worth, defending your position. Or you can walk in, say nothing, and let your presence speak for itself. Let your work be your voice. Let your results do the talking. Because when you waste your energy on unnecessary battles, you are robbing yourself of the strength you need for the fights that actually matter. Think about your phone. If you leave multiple apps running in the background, your battery drains faster. Your performance slows down. Your phone lags. The same thing happens to your mind when you allow too many distractions, too many conflicts, too many unnecessary conversations to run in your life. You become exhausted, mentally drained, and unfocused. But when you close those apps, when you stop responding to negativity, when you stop explaining yourself to people who do not care to understand, when you stop reacting to every small thing, you preserve your power. You move faster. You perform better. You keep your energy for the things that truly matter. Some people are nothing more than energy thieves. They provoke you, not because they seek truth, but because they seek to drain you. They throw words at you, not because they are right, but because they want to see if they can pull you into their chaos. They do not argue to learn. They argue to exhaust you. And the moment you recognize this, you must make a choice. Will you allow them to pull you into a battle that is beneath you, or will you stand firm in your silence, knowing that your energy is too valuable to be wasted on meaningless wars? Think about a candle. It burns bright, giving light to everything around it. But if you take that candle and place it in the wind, its flame will flicker, struggle, and eventually go out. Your energy is that flame. If you expose it to every storm, to every negative word, to every disrespectful person, you risk losing it. But if you protect it, if you shield it, if you refuse to let the outside world dictate your inner peace, you will continue to shine. A great warrior does not waste his sword on weak battles. A wise leader does not argue with every fool who questions his decisions. A person who understands their value does not feel the need to prove it to every doubter they encounter. There is strength in knowing when to fight and when to walk away. There is power in understanding that not every battle is yours to engage in. There is wisdom in realizing that sometimes the most powerful response is no response at all. Every time you react, you are giving a part of yourself away. You are opening the door for someone else to control your emotions. You are allowing them to dictate your mood, your peace, your focus. But when you remain silent, when you choose to disengage, you keep that power within you. You refuse to let outside forces control your internal state. You protect your energy like a treasure, knowing that it is the key to your success. Have you ever seen an eagle fly? It soars high above the noise, above the distractions, above the chaos below. It does not flap its wings desperately like a small bird trying to prove its strength. It glides effortlessly, using its energy only when necessary. It does not concern itself with the chatter below. It does not waste time responding to the crowds that try to peck at it. It flies higher, beyond their reach. And that is exactly what you must do. When disrespect comes your way, do not flap your wings in a desperate attempt to prove yourself. Do not lower yourself to the level of those trying to bring you down. Rise. Preserve your energy. Fly higher. Your energy is your greatest weapon, your most valuable currency. Protect it. Guard it. Do not waste it on those who do not deserve it. Do not allow the opinions of others to drain you. Do not give your power away by reacting to everything that comes your way. Move in silence. Focus on your purpose. Keep your energy for the battles that actually matter. Because at the end of the day, it is not the loudest person who wins. It is the one who stays focused, disciplined, and unshaken. The one who knows when to walk away. The one who understands that silence is not weakness. It is wisdom. It is strategy. It is power. Silence forces people to reflect. When you do not react, when you do not respond with anger or frustration, you create a void. And in that void, people are left alone with their own words, their own actions, and their own conscience. Most people argue insult, or provoke because they expect a reaction. They are prepared for your anger, ready for your defensive words, waiting for the battle. But when you do not engage, when you do not give them what they expect, something powerful happens. Suddenly, they are left with nothing but their own thoughts. Think about the last time you were in an argument. What made it escalate? Was it the words exchanged? The tone of voice? The emotions that kept rising with every response? Now imagine if one person had just stopped talking, had just listened, had just smiled and walked away. The entire atmosphere would have shifted. Because silence is disarming. It is unsettling. It forces the other person to look inward instead of outward. Picture someone yelling at you in anger, expecting you to fight back. But instead of matching their energy, you stand still. You say nothing. You remain calm. What happens next? They become confused. Their own words echo back at them. They start questioning themselves. Did I say too much? Did I go too far? Why isn't this person reacting? And suddenly, they're left facing their own actions instead of yours. Silence makes people uncomfortable because it forces them to deal with their own emotions. Many people avoid self-reflection. They fill their lives with noise, distractions, and constant movement, so they do not have to face their own shortcomings. But when you remain silent in the face of disrespect, you hold up a mirror to them. You make them see themselves clearly. And more often than not, that reflection will make them think twice before they act the same way again. There is a reason why the most powerful individuals do not waste time arguing. They do not need to. Their silence is louder than words. When someone disrespects them, they do not explain themselves. They do not justify their worth. They let the silence linger. And in that silence, the other person is forced to confront their own actions. Why did I say that? What did I gain? Was I right? Or was I just trying to hurt them? And that internal battle is far more powerful than any argument you could ever have. Look at history. The most impactful movements, the most powerful leaders, the strongest individuals, they all understood the power of silence. When people insulted them, they did not fight back with words. They fought back with results. They did not waste time defending themselves. They let their work, their actions, and their success speak for them. And in doing so, they forced the world to reflect. They forced people to reconsider their own biases, their own doubts, their own wrongdoings. Think about personal relationships. If someone treats you poorly and you respond with anger, you have given them exactly what they wanted, a reaction. But if you simply walk away, if you remove yourself from the situation, they are left to sit with the weight of what they have done. That silence lingers. It stays with them. It haunts them. Because now they are not arguing with you, they are arguing with themselves. A wise man once said, "A fool speaks because he has to say something. A wise man remains silent because he has something to think about." When you refuse to react, you are not weak. You are in control. You are the one holding the power. Because in that silence, the other person is forced to do something they may not have done in a long time: reflect. Reflection leads to growth. People may not always admit it, but when they are forced to sit with their own actions, many of them begin to change. They start questioning their behavior. They start realizing their mistakes. And while they may not apologize immediately, while they may not acknowledge it out loud, deep down, they know. They know they were wrong. They know they acted out of impulse. They know they lost control while you remained in control. And that realization stays with them. This is why silence is one of the greatest teachers. It does not shout. It does not argue. It does not demand attention. But it leaves a mark. It plants a seed. And that seed, once planted, will grow inside the mind of the person who once disrespected you. It will make them think twice before doing it again. It will force them to reconsider their actions. And in the end, that reflection may lead them to change. Not because you told them to, not because you proved a point, but because your silence made them confront themselves. Success is the best response to disrespect. There is no argument, no loud comeback, no heated debate that speaks louder than undeniable success. When someone disrespects you, they expect a reaction. They expect anger. They expect you to fight back with words. But what they do not expect is for you to remain calm, to stay focused, and to rise so high that their words become meaningless echoes of the past. Imagine a person who doubts you, who mocks your dreams, who tells you that you will never make it. In that moment, you might feel the urge to prove them wrong with words, to defend yourself, to explain why they are mistaken. But words are cheap. Arguments fade. What remains is action. What remains is the result you produce, the progress you make, the undeniable proof that you were never the person they believed you to be. Success is a language that does not require explanation. It is clear. It is powerful. It is undeniable. When you succeed, those who once disrespected you are forced to watch in silence. They may never admit they were wrong. They may never apologize. But deep down, they will know. And that knowledge will weigh on them far more than any words you could have spoken. Think about a time when someone underestimated you. Maybe it was a teacher who doubted your abilities, a boss who overlooked your potential, a family member who dismissed your dreams. How did you respond? Did you try to argue? Did you try to convince them? Or did you let your actions speak? Because if you have ever proven someone wrong, not with words, but with results, you know the power that success holds. There is a reason why those who are truly great do not waste time responding to critics. They do not stop to explain themselves to people who will never understand their vision. They do not seek validation from those who never believed in them. They focus on their craft. They dedicate themselves to their work. They let success be their voice. And when the results come, the world has no choice but to listen. Success does not happen overnight. It requires patience. It requires discipline. It requires the ability to endure disrespect without losing focus. Because there will always be people who doubt you. There will always be those who try to bring you down. But the greatest revenge is not found in fighting them. It is found in rising so high that they become irrelevant. Think of an athlete who was once told they were not good enough, only to later stand on the podium as a champion. Think of an entrepreneur who was once laughed at, only to later build an empire. Think of an artist whose work was once rejected, only to later be celebrated across the world. None of these people needed to argue with their critics. They did not need to explain their worth. They let their success be their answer. When someone disrespects you, they are testing you. They are watching to see how you will react. Will you get angry? Will you lose focus? Will you let their words define you? Or will you take that energy, channel it into your goals, and turn their doubt into your fuel? Because nothing is more satisfying than proving someone wrong without ever saying a word. Imagine walking into a room filled with people who once doubted you. But this time, you do not need to explain yourself. You do not need to remind them of what they said, because your success speaks for itself. Because the very people who once looked down on you are now forced to acknowledge you. That is the power of staying silent and letting your achievements do the talking. There is a saying that the loudest person in the room is often the weakest. Strength does not come from shouting. It does not come from proving a point in the moment. It comes from discipline. It comes from the ability to walk away from petty battles and focus on the war that truly matters. It comes from knowing that your time is too valuable to waste on those who do not believe in you. Success is the best revenge, not because it humiliates those who doubted you, but because it elevates you beyond their reach. It takes you to a level where their words no longer matter, where their opinions no longer have weight. And when you get there, you will realize that their disrespect was never about you, it was about them. Their own fears, their own insecurities, their own limitations. Every great person has faced disrespect at some point in their journey. But they did not let it stop them. They did not let it define them. They took that negativity and transformed it into something powerful. They used it as fuel. And in the end, they did not need to say a word, because their success said everything that needed to be said. The greatest battles in life are not won with words, but with discipline, focus, and unshakable belief in yourself. There will always be people who doubt you, people who underestimate you, people who try to push you down just to make themselves feel taller. But remember this: when an eagle soars high, the crows beneath it cannot reach. They scream, they squawk, they try to pull it down, but the eagle never flaps its wings in response. It simply rises higher until the noise fades into nothing. You must become that eagle. You must train yourself to rise above the noise, above the criticism, above the distractions that seek to steal your energy. Because your energy is sacred, your time is valuable, and your purpose is greater than any insult, any doubt, any moment of disrespect. The moment you realize this is the moment you stop wasting time on battles that do not serve your destiny. A lion does not turn around when a dog barks. A king does not stop to argue with every peasant that questions his rule. A person who knows their worth does not waste time proving it to those who will never understand it. Because at the end of the day, success speaks louder than any argument ever could. Your silence is not weakness. It is a declaration of power. It is a statement that says, I do not need to respond because my actions will speak for me. When they say you cannot do it, let them talk. When they disrespect you, let them talk. When they laugh at your dreams, let them talk. Because one day, they will see what you built while they were busy doubting you. One day, they will realize that their words did not break you. They built you. Every insult became a stepping stone. Every moment of disrespect became fuel. Every doubt became a lesson. And when that day comes, you will not need to say, I told you so. Because your success will say it for you. Silence is the weapon of those who are truly great. It is not the noise that builds an empire. It is the quiet discipline behind the scenes. It is the late nights, the early mornings, the sacrifices that no one sees. It is the refusal to be distracted by empty words. It is the ability to stay focused when the world tries to shake you. The people who win in life are not the ones who waste time arguing. They are the ones who are too busy building to notice the noise. Think about the most successful people in history. Did they waste their energy responding to every critic, every doubter, every insult? Or did they put their heads down and work? Did they let their results do the talking? The answer is clear. Those who truly achieve greatness do not seek validation from those who never believed in them. They do not stop to fight battles that do not matter. They move forward, knowing that their success will be the only response they ever need. So the next time someone disrespects you, the next time someone doubts you, the next time someone tries to pull you into their storm, pause, breathe, and remember who you are. You are not here to convince them. You are not here to explain yourself. You are here to win. You are here to rise. You are here to succeed in such a way that their words become irrelevant. And when you do, the same people who once looked down on you will look up to you in silence, because they will finally understand what they never saw before. They will see the power of quiet resilience. They will see the strength of silent determination. And in that moment, they will know the person they once disrespected was never weak. They were simply waiting for the right time to let their success speak. And when it does, the world will listen.